Well, I'm not going to find it here, am I? Because this is not an index. This is just a table of contents where all you have is your headers listed with a page number. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Love the green. I've never seen green. I dig that. To keep that lid on and snap it right. Look, it even gives a satisfying snap. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Alright guys, let's open this up. Now, the postman tried to do that already, but he didn't quite get all the way through. So let's go ahead and actually get into what this is. Because at the time of recording, I'm not quite sure. I think it might be Dungeonology. If not, well then I guess we'll keep going from there. But we'll see. Aha, it is Dungeonology. I was right. Is something missing or wrong? Let us know. We'll do. Alright, already some nice packaging. I like this kind of, whatever this, Air Plus by Soro pack. Good on you guys. These are nice. I like them a lot. This is well packaged. Alright, so this is just wave 1, so it's just the core box. That's all we're getting right now. Let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look. Love the front artwork, by the way. Love the color gradient from purple, blue. You got the orange here. You got the green here. Otherwise, it's just like the stark white. Very, very cool. On the back, there's a lot going on here, but it's just showing you a huge layout of a game and then kind of what you get everywhere. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look. That should be enough. There we are. Got it. My understanding is they put like every language in here, so it's going to be kind of a lot of a waste there. Very, very smooth. Feels nice though, and this is a shiny here, so it just, you know, you can really kind of tell on that. Very heavy box for its size. There's a lot going on here. All right. On the sides, by the way, we got a, you know, Bear Man and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Rulebook, again, very, very odd-shaped rulebook. Death May Die had the same kind of thing. I don't like it as much. It's very floppy. I like mine to be a bit more rigid. I get that you're trying to fit this box size. I would have rather you have cut it here and made it thicker, to be honest. I see you would have had to maybe go, you know, a couple millimeters more maybe, and I would have been fine with that because I can't. What do you want with? It just like curls around my hand. Like, it's just unwieldy. When I have to read this thing, I have to like hold it out like I'm 50 years old reading a newspaper. Like, that's just annoying. Way too big. Alright, so right here, in this IMAX version of the rulebook, we got the contents. The base game is supplied with one civilization and one boss with multiple clans. Future expansions will add more civilizations and bosses. So I always like to try and comment whenever I see a rule book and a core game mention additional purchases. I don't put it as a plus or a minus, but I do think it's worth noting. And then anybody who maybe is really against that or thinks that's great can take what they want from that. I will say that I can't get this tape off of my finger. We have like these examples in green, which is kind of cool. I like using different font colors. It's a great visual cue for a lot of things. Okay, and so then we have game components, and we have just a list, which is not quite as useful. The list is pointed to here. Makes it, you know, I mean, you gotta have to do the match thing, and this is all really small, but it's better than just a list on its own. And then you have the quantities over there, which I'm kind of okay with. The student model is 40 ordinary and 5 omega. I don't know what the difference is yet. Probably the red versus gray. Obviously, there's a big number difference you can tell. And then the game briefly. Let's see how briefly we are. We're on page 5. And then we got all 6 and all 7. And now, okay, now we're on game setup. Well, this looks like there's a lot of images, a lot of kind of clear space as well. I think they could have probably tightened this up and made the rulebook a bit smaller. I mean, like, this is, all of this is one page here. Great that you're not looking at a tiny image. But again, there's a ton on this one, so it just kind of depends. All right, lots and lots of game rules here, but lots of images and call outs and stuff like that. Hopefully this is a good read. It looks like a pretty lengthy one, so I'm going to keep kind of moving on. You're going to keep seeing stuff. Lots of examples, which is nice to see. And then what we need to see, oh, this is just like a blurb about the different students. On the back, we have that. Do we have an index? No index. So there's a wah, wah, wah into this. Is no index at all. You have 31 ginormous, giant handman rulebook pages full of small text and tons of rules and no index. So if I need to know about stealing, right, not only do you not have like a glossary where there's a quick reference guide to all the like terminologies that you use and stuff like that, but is this the only place stealing is mentioned? Is on page 22? I don't know. In fact, if I come over here to your table of contents and look under 22, do I see stealing at all? I do not. I see study, I see stealth test summary, I see espionage, and I see information cube keyword. So if I'm trying to look, okay, what was steal? I need to know that steal word. How did stealing work in that? Well, I'm not going to find it here, am I? Because this is not an index. This is just a table of contents where all you have is your headers listed with a page number. Whoop-de-freaking-do. You spend so much time putting together this, making the art look good, making the layout good, having these call-out boxes here, giving examples, doing all of that. Look at all the work you put into this. And it's borderline unusable as an actual document when I can't look up something as basic as what stealing is. I just don't understand why these companies cannot take the day, the single day their technical writer would have to do, or whoever poor sod has to write all of this, to go through and make an index. Yeah, it's going to take you a couple hours, especially when it's this big. It'll take you a while to make sure you gather everything. Ideally, it's somebody who has read the rulebook, ideally written the rulebook, knows where everything is, and then is just going page by page knowing, oh, this talks about this, I already know that, and then moving on. You know, you wouldn't want me to make your index, and I don't want to make your index. I want you to give me an index. Okay, crappy rulebook. Moving on. This is cool. So this is double-sided here, and the arrow makes me want to try and turn this, but it doesn't turn. This is where you put your little gray people or students or whatever the heck they are, researchers, and you got card spots here and stuff like that. Nice that it's double-sided or double thick like that. We got tokens, and not a whole lot of tokens, at least at the top levels. That's kind of nice. So we got some good punch out there. A little bit of a hang on, but it falls on its own. I'll give that a pass. It's kind of like looping around the rim of a basketball hoop, right? Like as long as it goes in, then that's fine. Those pop out good. These are nice and straight. Now I will say here that the bent portion of the top and then the sharp portion here does still give a feel of it being cutted. It's not super smooth. Like there's a lot of, in fact, can you hear that? There's a lot of texture here, right? It's not super smooth. Like it even feels a little rough. Probably a cardboard quality thing there, but kind of a bummer just because it doesn't quite feel as nice, right? You can so you can just kind of feel the cut a little bit, but they seem to be popping out quite nice. I don't see anything that would give me pause thinking that it's going to, tear, the image off of one or something like that. It seems really nice. All right, back to here. Love the green. I've never seen green. I dig that. Any colored plastic is good in my book because I can actually see it. I can see the shape a little bit better. Is this taped? Probably. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so looky here. All right. So I just unboxed Death May Die right before this, and they had like the sticky tape everywhere, and you saw how unpleasant that was of an experience for me as the first thing. So, okay, as a consumer, the first thing you experience is this. You experience opening everything up and looking at it. The next thing you experience is that crappy rulebook. The very last experience you have with this game, after at least an hour of opening everything up and reading the rulebook, depending on how long the rulebook is, it could be several hours, is playing the game. The game could be great, but if they've already had 2 to 3 hours of terrible experience with your rulebook and your components, it's kind of a moot point in a lot of ways. It can take a lot out of you. A consumer should be excited to open your product. Now, why I ranted and raved about that. In Death May Die, you saw me struggling over and over again about this tape. And now here, look at that. Just a little nub right here, just a little inlet right there, and it's enough to keep that lid on and snap it right. Look, it even gives a satisfying snap. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Do you see how that works? So come on. These people are in your your industry, so you should be looking at, your competitors, so you can kind of see how that works. This is how your competitors are doing it. Follow suit. Be as good. When they are doing something better than you, you should try and do better too, right? So I don't want to see tape on your crap again. All right. Anyway, let's see. Looks like it goes this way. And actually, all that's left is this box. Very plain box, by the way. But the glue job seems fairly good. Corners are what I normally look at, though I'm seeing a little bit of, just a little bit of a lip in a few spots that could start getting some dust or something like that. This looks good here. And then I got a weird scratch here. It may have caused it when I just took this out. I don't know. All right, moving on. Hold on. Gotta make sure it's straight. I dig the green though, by the way. That's cool. And in. There we go. Okay. So these are the parts where I'm supposed to lift up. There we go. Kind of a very tight fit, which makes it kind of an odd opening here. My goodness. Come on. Don't make me take back what I said. All right. You know what? That's how you open it. You take the tray out. At least that's how I'm opening it now. Okay. And flush again. Well, let's look at the minis later. Otherwise, I'm just going to rant and rave on those. Okay, so opening this up. I like that I didn't have to cut that open. Again, just little things like that. It's super easy to open. It was easy for me. Looking at these look like your kind of player aids, which are nice. They actually have a pretty good thickness to them, which I'm kind of surprised to see. These are, they seem and feel a little bit thicker than what Death May Die had. Could just be a feel of it though. It's got kind of that, hashed linen kind of look to it, but not that the feel is very smooth. Lots of info in there though, so that's good. Hopefully those are helpful. Then we got a whole bunch of double thick cardboard here, and it has like this spot here. This is where that wheel would go, right? So I'm gonna be some kind of assembly there where you're turning the wheel. It also means they kind of like fold a little weird, and then you have the different stuff here that I'm sure you're putting cubes here and whatnot, and unlocking stars or whatever, if I remember correctly. But those are nice. I dig that. Not the nicest cardboard. You could see the where it was glued here quite easily. You can see the layers. Fairly smooth though, not too bad. This seems to not match up there quite. I don't know if you can see that well or not. A little tiny bit of a lip there, but happy to have them. All right. And look at that. Look at that. We got actually a fairly nice bag here. It's got the kind of iron-on thing or whatever. But again, with the green, that seems to be a theme here. But it feels nice. It's nice and big, a lot, so you're not like struggling to get your hand in there. You can get your hand in there quite easily, which is very nice. A lot of the times you gotta kind of do this with your hand and then kind of like go in there and then pinch it with your like fingers. So that's nice. That looks good. Okay, this is for the spin dial thing. I don't think I'm going to put that together for this video, but in a review, future review, I'll be able to mention that. These gems are very standard gems, so I'm not going to open these either. I will say that the colors, I think, are fairly nice. Green and yellow could be more different. When the light shines through both, I can tell the difference, but I might accidentally grab one. There's not as big a difference as I'd like to see, in my opinion. I would like the red a little bit brighter as well, but is what it is. All right, so we got cards here. I'm gonna open, I think, one of each size. So let's go ahead and open these so I can comment about thickness and whatever else. And again, I forget if you're shuffling or manhandling a lot of these. I do believe you have a deck or a hand of cards, and anytime you're handling cards, you want to make sure that they're thick enough and made from a material and in a process that allows bending enough to where you get that jerk that cups their thing and kind of bends them around. And so anytime you're dealing with them, you want to make sure they're up to snuff. So these are quite firm, so they're not super bendable. Which again, I'm fine with bend. It needs to be able to bend and come back. I'm not sure this will necessarily come back from a bend, but it is nice and thick, and I do like that. I love the kind of thumb art style. It's very funny. All right, lots of different cards here, though. They do have a linen feel to it, but very smooth. It's not that super textured linen you get. You do get that reflective thing. I don't care for the reflectivity. I wish most linen cards didn't have that. And it looks like it would support sleeves, from what I can tell. What I don't like here in this tray is what I'm trying to do right now. So they're little, you just have to sever through me so I can explain it. This doesn't go all the way down. So I can only grab here, and then all the cards underneath here are just kind of flat, and I kind of have to try and pinch them out. And I don't know why this wasn't put all the way down, but put it all the way down next time so I can really grab into it. Same goes for this one. I can already see that. Every time I get the cards out there, I'm going to have to really struggle on anything below that. I mean, I just can't really, there's not really a good way around that. Not with what's provided anyway. Oh, looky here. So, so I'm just now getting this, right? And I guess I got it like 2 days ago, so it's not a big deal. Either way, this has already been canceled. So this is, hey, don't miss the Kickstarter campaign for DEI. I don't mind the ad at all. I think it's a great way, especially if your backers are enjoying this experience, to be like, oh, hey, another campaign. I'll be sure to look at that. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing here. I want to see more about it. I didn't even know about this. They didn't tell me about it like they did Dungeonology or Black Rose Wars. I wasn't able to cover it. It just kind of showed up. I didn't know about it because I didn't get this in time either. And so, it got like no coverage from me, and I think they canceled it because it had funded like 200%, but it wasn't making as much. And that whole 200%, I know 100% isn't actually funding; it's all fake, so that you can get the whole like funded in 20 seconds, on your page. Like anybody believes that. Real funding goals are much different, especially for the scale they want, or just what you want for your game, right? Especially if you're doing monetary stretch goals. You want to make sure that you unlock your full game, right? That you have planned from the get-go. So, yeah, hopefully they can get in touch, and I can see what I can do about looking into this. Because I didn't even end up looking at it. I was like, oh, they did something? Well, they didn't tell me about it, so I don't know what to think about that. Maybe it's because I laugh at stuff like that, and they're like, that's not nice or something. I don't know. Because yeah, they kind of worked with me with Black Rose Wars and on this, to where I could actually do a Kickstarter details video on it and stuff, which is kind of nice. I love the color, by the way. The red and blue here look nice. Very clean. The symbols are very obvious. Nothing's really hidden. And a lot of times when you get symbol heavy stuff like this, it's kind of hard to always find all the symbols. So that looks like that shows up well. I'm just going to open that one. This is just different cards, but quality wise, I think they're great. Okay, so here's a lot of the tiles. These do go all the way down. Oh, look, there's something underneath there. Oh, look at that. And even then, look at that. So these go all the way down. I don't know why these don't. Weird. So looking at these seem quite nice. These are very, very nice and flat, and they seem to work well. And I love the colors. Yeah, that's just kind of an interesting. I like it. It looks like a video game to me, which I can appreciate. And it looks like this is a full wall, so you'd have to kind of connect from a different way. The full wall here too. Anyway, I like these. I like the variety. The fact that there's, okay, so here's another one of my points, right? It's like, this is not like double thick. This is a normal tile here, but they were so able to inlay that. So you don't really have to put a whole, if you don't think you can do the double thick, there's still solutions out there. Decimated, I had the kind of plastic containers. They just kind of drill into it and just make sure it's kind of nice and sturdy. A lot you can do here. Look how tiny they are. My kids are going to love this. Just like the size of them and the art and everything. It's so funny. If you recall, I first teased this game way before they had even really announced it. They had a different theme entirely. This is the same game, but it was realistic. It wasn't these thumb people at all. It was, just like more normal looking, kind of mature styled miniatures. And so they completely rethemed this, which is kind of interesting. All right, so they even now they still have the LMS on the bottom, which is cool. I can appreciate that. Actually, some really good detail. I like the ears and the cups on the ears, and a little bit of a hair showing up there. And the D is inlaid really well. Fingers look nice. The corner of the book is great. Scroll bindings are good. These are actually pretty good miniatures. For considering they're just a huge amount of throwaway ones. They're just. Again, you grabbing them out of the bag, it's not a big deal, but they're cool. I like them. This is something to say about theme too, just how there's a lot of different stuff you can put in here, a lot of tokens and stuff here that you can put, which is nice. Oh man, is that snap in? Is that snap in? Oh, it is snap in. Gross. All right, so that's a little tight. So I'm looking here, and do you see how tight that is? It's just really it's not super snapping. I'm not lifting the tray with it or anything like that, but definitely enough to like right here to just kind of grip. So if I paint this guy, this right here is just going to be super rubbed on. You may as well paint them and then just push on them and do this. Why nobody would do that in their right mind, but the tray's going to do that. And then around here, it does it as well. That being said, looking at this, I love the textured rim. That's very cool. I like it. Just add some pizzazz to it. I dig it. Let's see. And again, this kind of thick style, I think, is really smart when it comes to miniatures, just because you can get it helps your mold. So here he actually has full lips, some teeth showing up. He has not only eyes but pupils in the eyes, paint with a separate kind of rim in there, so you can put your black pupils in there really, really easily. The drink kind of coming out, you can see the drink here just starting to pour out. Big chunky fingers look good. The mold line here is very minimal. It's mostly gone. They did a great job here. I'm liking the detail here more than I did on Black Rose Wars. I will say I can see his post right here. So it wasn't quite pushed in enough. I'll have to fill that in just so we're not seeing a post come out of his hoof. Good texture here. Yeah, these are nice. I like it. That's great. Sadly snap him in there a little bit. All right, now look at, I think this is Rebecca. And yeah, I must say, I'm surprised she's as firm as she is, because what they could have done, and what I might still do, especially after I paint her, is I might put some glue right here and glue that in. I think that little bit right there would really help, because she is just attached by her feet. Now it's quite firm, you can see, but there is a little bit of a wiggle there, right? I mean, at least a little bit. That seems like more like, it seems kind of dangerous. I don't know what I'm wiggling there, but I think it's just touching the book there. And you could even put a dab there. Put a dab there, put a little bit of glue right there, and she's going to be super firm. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that on their own, but at least there is 2 contact points where you can. Detail-wise, facial features look great. She's got lips, she's got nose, she's got eyebrows, she's got cheeks. Sculpted hair looks good. I like the braid. The braid showed up nice. Satchels are cool. I dig that. This flowing out is cool. I love all the custom basing, by the way. The book laid open. You can write little things in there. It even has a bookmark. That's kind of cool. I like that. More books there with clear pages versus binding there. Great stitching. This seems just slightly bent, but just slightly. Be easy to fix. Hand here looks good. Hand here looks a little muddy. I'm not seeing any fingers here at all. Just this one that she's pointing in, but nothing here. Overall, I'm quite happy with this miniature. Hair looks good here. Those fingers are probably the only bummer. That and perhaps this mold line front and center here. Again, kind of a bummer to have it so prominent. Now again, you're going to see all of this. Maybe this is Rebecca. I don't know who Rebecca is. You're going to see all this at the end and some nice lighting and an actual miniature box, that I show things off in. So you're going to see really good, just not me manhandling it. This is just me talking about it. Here you can see the basing a lot more. See, like they both have some kind of very busy basing, and hers is very open. So you can see, the broken sword here and the kind of the rock column here and the textured ground, which looks great. I love her pose, that her shoulders are up high. She's looking down, just kind of looks like she's flicking her blade kind of casually, which is a very interesting sculpt design. The fingers are molded, maybe not the best, but they actually are, and so that'll still paint up quite well, I think. Rope has some good texture on it. These little probably buttons, maybe clasps on her robe look good. Very well defined portions here. I prefer an inlay versus an outlay because and when it pops out I have to paint the sides, but otherwise I'm good with that. Some nice wrinkles there. This is a nice one. And again, some great poses too. This guy, again, I love that he's holding his weapon there. Love his feathered hat. The feather texture is good. Facial features are great. This eyebrow's raised a little bit versus this one. Looks like he even has eyes and eyelids, which is impressive. And of course the lantern looks really, really well. Hands look good. His finger looks a little long here. But other than that, love the shield. Very basic kind of wood look here. Could have done with some better wood. Like the planks are well defined, but the wood texture, there's no grain there. It's very flat. But otherwise, I like them. And finally, we have this guy. He looks kind of like the thief to me. I don't know why. But again, these look good. I like his squat look there. I'm glad they added some kind of stuff that pops out a little bit. Good facial features. Hair looks great. Backpack looks awesome. This guy's cool too. I dig it. Book is good just like the other ones. All right, so that's all on wave 1. That's what you get. So let's go ahead and go talk in the miniature view section. All right, guys, so here are the final miniatures, and as you can see, the detail level and just kind of the overall feeling of them I think is really unique and really, really great. I will say that the sculpt design is not very actiony. They're not in really dynamic poses For the most part, they're just kind of standing there like normal with their arms to their side. The rogue lady, like here, with her foot kind of slightly askew on the rock and leaning back a little bit. And then this guy here that's crouching are probably the most dynamic of the bunch. However, I appreciate the art style, and that kind of thick, cartoony look helps the miniature keep its detail level really nice and crisp. So you can see like the damage on his, like armor bracelet there and whatnot. I really like how they turned out. I think they look really cool and interesting, and I'm really excited to get the rest of the stuff and see how that turned out as well. So, even if it's just a guy holding a lantern with a wooden sword, I think there's plenty here to enjoy, and they should paint up quite well. I think they'll look great that way too. Anyway, guys, that's it for my unboxing of Dungeonology. I'm actually posting this really near Christmas, so Merry Christmas. I hope you've had a wonderful 2019, and I hope that 2020 brings you nothing but joy. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons. Without them, videos like this just would not be possible. I either wouldn't be able to get the game, or I wouldn't be able to film it as good as I am right now. So I hope you appreciate this final shot and the rest of the video. All thanks to them. And with that, I will talk to you soon.